Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. I tweaked my microphone a little last night, so it should be better. If you have issues, let me know. I feel like I can hear it really well, but that might just be me, but we'll see. If you guys have any problems with it though, again, let me know and I'll tweak it. Today we are going to go ahead and continue writing. I did change a few things. Hold on. Checking a couple things real quick. Something didn't go off the way I thought it was going to go. Here we go. I'm going to be muttering to myself for a second, so don't mind me. What? 80. Why? Yeah, so that should have started. well, let's, there we go. Alright, so I'll get that figured out in the future, I guess, if it continues to have problems. But that thing that you see above my avatar now, that is just a rotating card, so you're not going to see the text. Plus, it has a little bit more information on it. So you got this one that you see above me, which is what was the general goals, and now you get to cross stream channel points too with the commands. If you have any questions about it, let me know, and I will be happy to answer. And they are supposed to like fade out after a couple of minutes and then fade back in after like 10-15 more minutes. So just FYI, new exciting stuff there. Oh, I gotta turn that off too. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So, but yeah, there's that. Anything else before we get to writing? Talked about my microphone, talked about the new cards, the info, more cards can be added. A bunch of the information on the cards I added to the ticker too. So there is that. What else? I don't think there's anything else regarding that. Maybe I should add a Baby DJ card. I will probably do that later. But yeah, so speaking about Baby DJ, I don't usually get into it during my evening streams because I am limited. I try to stick to about an hour with those. But I'm going to be here until 5. I will go to 6. I didn't exercise today. Until about 5 today. And then, so we definitely have more time, so I'm going to take this time to talk about Baby DJ. You'll probably see it talked about from the chat bot too. But Baby DJ is the local charity that I support. They help collect kids, they collect toys for kids for Christmas season. If families are having a tough time, like living out of their car, they help provide like meals for them. And they're a year-round charity. It's not just for the holiday season, although they started because of the holiday season. So it's a great charity that I personally support. I've supported them for years at this point, but even before I started streaming my writing. So if you want to donate, I recommend donating directly to them. I don't have a way to link up the PayPal. So, so just a Scout's honor on that, I suppose. But all revenue from this stream will go to Baby DJ. So, for example, if sorry. So like bits that get donated, ad revenue is the big one. If you decide to sub, first of all, thank you if you do decide to. And so if you decide to sub, all of that just adds up together, and all that revenue gets donated in the first week or two of December. I usually wait till about December 10th or so, because sometimes Twitch can be a bit delayed when it comes to the accounting for revenue. So I like to wait about a week and then I donate it. And then I match what's donated up to a limit. I'm going to say $50. And then I'm going to add my own donation on top of that. So that's kind of TBD. Things have been we've got kind of a few big ticket things going on in my personal life going on right now, with one pending that might jack up that price a little bit more. So, but I will be donating to the charity as well. So I'm going to be matching whatever the revenue I get is, plus my own donation. And those of you who've stuck around with me before through this, I do post the screenshots in Instagram and Discord. So when those donations are made, so if you are dubious about if she really going to do what she says, you can go back to those platforms and double check. All right, let's see. Anything else to ramble on about? I'll just touch on the goals for a moment, I guess. So it's going to be in the card when it comes back. You can also see it in the ticker. But as a way to encourage participation and people joining and stuff, I do have stream goals and monthly goals. So every stream, if I get 5 viewers, it looks like we're currently at 3. Yeah, it looks like we're at 3. If I can get 5 viewers, the little preview blurb goes up to half a page, and then if we can get 10 viewers, then it goes to a full page, and that resets every stream. For the month of November in general, for every $10 earned, there's going to be a character info card that gets added to the rotation that you see with the that talks about the donation goals and the channel points. Currently, those are kind of on a short rotation, but when character cards get added, that changes. For every 10 subscriptions I get, and this isn't something that I get too often, so I made this a really juicy-ish one. I will add, for every 10 subs I get, I will add a chapter of the rough draft of the story I'm writing currently, the Foreseen, to Ko-fi for a free download. And then every $100 of revenue raised, I will do a stream where I read all of what I've written of the Foreseen so far, which is currently 33-ish chapters, give or take a few. So those are the November goals. And there are some commands too. There's only one in the ticker, !word count, so you can see how many words have been written so far. The goal is 50,000 words. Just because I'm so busy, I can't really sneak in that many words during my workday, apparently. Plus I had the vacation and all sorts of stuff going on this month. So 50,000 and then whatever I get. I'm not doing too bad though, and I do intend to make up for a bunch of it today. And then there are other commands that you can redeem for channel points, ! Points to see how many channel points you have. Maybe I'll add that to the ticker too. And you can do redeem space. Oh, shoot, I forgot what a couple of the examples were. Give me one sec. Like redeem space sprint, so get me to do a 10-minute writing sprint. Redeem space blind for a 5 minutes closed eyes sprint. Those take points, by the way. Oh, and the card came back, so you'll see that in a second. And then a few other things. So you can get me to use a word, you can get me to hydrate, stretch, walk. They're between like 500 or 100 and 500 points for most of these that I've published anyway. I've got some other things for more fun gaming type streams. But for writing, those are the ones that I've enabled. All right, so I think I've rambled enough. Let's go ahead and get back to the story. Last we left off, our main character, Deja, who grew up knowing she was the Foreseen person who's going to fight the darkness. She, well, I guess road so far. She left her where she's basically being housed and ran off to go learn more about science because she's a warrior and she wants to use whatever she can at her disposal, which in this case is science. This other nation has science, and her nation doesn't like other nations, so she's having to basically do it herself. She ends up in a different nation, though, and she essentially kidnaps another character, Farah, and has Farah lead her out of that third nation into the destination nation. The nation that she's going toward is Flornea. The capital of Flornea is Praencia. So we got those. And mishaps and adventures happen along the way. They run into Luke and Raimi. That is a pair of, a sibling, a pair of siblings, a sibling pair from a tribe that is in opposition to basically any of the other tribes of Sylark. Sylark is a nation known for its nomadic tribes, and so those two are part of one of the more aggressive tribes. And they, long story short, they try to kidnap the Foreseen for their own purposes. It doesn't go well. And now Remy and then Luca are now both captured by the Foreseen Knights. Deja's country did try to rescue her. That did not work out well for them. And so Deja is now in the presence of the Foreseen Knights with Remy and Luca as their captives. She's a guest, a reluctant guest, but a guest nonetheless. Thera managed to find her way away from Deja, but she nearly died in the process. She got rescued by a guy named Nick, who essentially not only nursed her back to health, but took her back to her tribe. That's where we left off, was she was left with her tribe. Nick went off on his own, and Farah was telling her tribe about everything she went through. And now we're going to go ahead and start writing chapter 34. And this time we're going to get Nick's perspective. I'm going to hide something real quick. I'm going to hide the text real quick. I'll bring it back in just a sec, I promise. I just need to double check and see where his land of origin is from. Okay. Sorry, I just don't want to make people sick with everything jumping back and forth. I found the chapter where they're introduced. I'm just scrolling through it. Serogi. S-E-R-O-G. That looks like a J. I just might have a smudge in my computer monitor though. Give me one sec. But I'm going to jump back down to chapter 34 and with the text so you guys can see it. Well, what you're seeing isn't the chapter 34 text, it's just something else. I'm just going to grab that word and... Yeah, that was a J. Okay. It's going to be Serogi though. I'll get that corrected in post. Alright, anyway. Where are we? Alright. As he traveled the wooded path back north, where his tribe, the Serogi, were located, Nick contemplated what he had witnessed. I don't know. I had the idea to do something with him, and I'm not liking the idea as much as I'm starting to write. We'll see where it goes, I guess. As he traveled the wooded path back north, where his tribe, the Serogi, were located, what he had witnessed in the past few days. It wasn't much of a witnessing per se, but more of what he had experienced. He had traveled southward, much further south. Oh, let me create a paragraph out of that. much further south than he had ever gone before. He traveled southward, much further south than he had ever gone before, and managed to find himself nearly at the edge of the Skylark Wood. Skylark Wood, just before the land turned upward into mountains. Through that, he found the woman named Farah, nearly on death's door, attempting to eat a razor leaf. In desperation. If he hadn't have come along, that woman likely would not have survived to see the next sunrise. By saving her and sharing her provision and sharing his provisions with her, he let's see. He was able to hear her story, that the Foreseen Skylark Wood, that she was seeking something called science, that according to Farah, this science was formidable, was something unnatural, and that the Foreseen wasn't the great savior that he had expected them to be, and more importantly, that there might be a war looming ahead. The last 2 points bothered him the most. There were many things in this world that he didn't, that the bronzed young man didn't understand. He could just add the power of science to that list. But the way that Farah talked about the Foreseen was of someone who had just escaped a captor. The woman had no reverence for the prophesied. Okay, sure. Had no reverence for the prophesied savior. In fact, he realized Farah had no Farah spoke about that other woman, Deja, more as if she were just a woman. Just a regular person. Just like anyone. I mean, it stood to reason. The Foreseen was a child of the people, after all. Still, after growing up and hearing stories about how the world is going to fall into darkness, only to be lit anew by the Foreseen, he had a suspicion that, or he had a belief rather, that the Foreseen could do no wrong. Farah had the opposite viewpoint, and seemed to imply that everything that had befallen her was the Foreseen's doing. He contemplated the idea for a moment, as much as it pained him to. As much as it pained him to. If the Foreseen was really a dangerous person, then who was the darkness? Would the darkness have been... how bad would the darkness be? It was prophecy to be a darkness, so it must be pretty bad to have someone as outright dangerous as the Foreseen. To have someone like the Foreseen to be a dangerous, deadly person, be the light that extinguishes it. He had, though, Farah had a very visceral reaction to thoughts about the Foreseen. He frowned. She seemed like such a nice girl. But could she have been the darkness? Was there something about her that the Foreseen had to eradicate? Farah was still alive, he reminded himself. So the Foreseen couldn't have thought that she was dangerous. She couldn't be the darkness. He decided. Maybe elements around her were dark. The fair couldn't be it. The fair herself, especially in that weakened state, he found her, couldn't be at all dangerous. Could she? He cocked his own head at the thought. He did find her in a weakened state. And although he nurtured her back to a semblance of health, she wasn't fully recovered. If she had been fully recovered, would she then be dangerous? And he realized as he steered his horse, no more end names. I almost wrote an end name. Another P name. No, there's no P's. I need another letter. Leo. Around a thorn bush, and he realized thorn bush, not burn. And he realized as he searched Leo around a thorn bush, it probably didn't matter anyway. The Foreseen was no longer in Skylark, according to Farah. If Farah were truly the darkness, the Foreseen would have stayed. That, in and of itself, was all the confirmation he needed to rationalize in order to feel better and convince himself that Farah is no threat. Good. He exhaled, rubbing the back of his horse's mane affectionately. I did aid. Bringing darkness to the people. He ain't a bright boy. He said, just to his horse, in a low, relieved tone. Nick? A wavering voice asked. From up ahead. A wavering, sandy Sand. All right. Things are going to start to get good, guys. Here we go. Here we go. He looked up and saw the diminutive figure of his tribe's elder. I almost want to call her Elder Lingen, like Lingonberry, but I don't think so. But I think I might do a play on Berry. Hold on. Berry. Oh no, that sounds terrible, because it's the title, Elderberry. That's awful. I can't do that. Oh man. Leadon? Ooh, I like Leadon. Hold on. Elder Leadon. Ooh, Lehan. Forgot the D, but that's perfect. Standing in a shadow of one of the trees. Confusion crossed his face. He knew his tribe wasn't planning on moving anytime. He knew his tribe wasn't planning on moving anytime soon, and that he was at least half the day out from the camp. Why was she here alone? The smile crossed her face as she watched him make his confused expression. Come, let's walk. I'm imagining her, I don't remember the actress's voice, or name rather, but the one woman from The Expanse, and I think she's also in Penguin. I've seen her in a few other things, but she's got a really raspy, like smokery voice. Not necessarily smokery, but like she's got a deep husky voice, and she's got the Indian accent to it too, so it's like really exotic. I love it. I'm kind of imagining that a little bit with this particular character. A smile crossed her face as she watched him make his confused expression. Come, let's walk. He hurried Leo over to her, and the two began to make their way to the camp at a strolling pace, slow enough where the horse could keep up with the elder. Why are you all the way out here? He asked, after only a few steps. To see you. Why? How long did you look for me? How did you know I would come from that path? He asked as he realized that had it not been for Farah, he would have come from a more direct, from a direction more southern than where he was currently traveling. She chuckled. I had it, she explained. One sec. I had a feeling, she explained. Her hands clasping behind her back as she walked. No, I do not wait very long. Tell me about that satchel you're wearing across your back, she demanded. She demanded, her voice remaining soft and, I don't know if I want to use wispy and low. Oh, this? Oh. He looked down and saw the strap for the satchel that the Eldirian tribe had bestowed to him for Farah's return. I found someone I found someone in need and returned her to their tribe. Returned her to her tribe. They rewarded me with some provisions, he explained. Oh, we're at 5 viewers. Give me 1 sec. I'm gonna increase the preview. It's not automatic, so there it goes. All right. Oh, looks like I never dropped, but that's fine. We got there, so we're going to stay there. All right, anyway, where was I? Oh, he looked down and saw the strap for the satchel that for the satchel of provisions, he explained. She nodded. She nodded, as if expecting an answer. Elder? He asked. Yes. He wasn't sure how to address her. Something about her felt off to him. She was always a mysterious woman, keeping generally to herself and coming out only periodically to make suggestions to the tribe council, most of which were adopted and enacted. While she would come out periodically for special occasions, such as childbirth or marriage ceremonies, she generally wasn't known for leaving the tribe at all. A little confused, she She said, looking up at him with a bemused. She said after a few seconds of silence, looking up at him with a bemused expression. All right. Accidentally clicked something. I had to fix it. Sorry, guys. It's fixed though. You look confused, she said after a few seconds of silence, looking up at him with a bemused expression. Just ask what you want to ask. Why are you out here? He blurted. I already said. I already told you. She said. Although there was no laughter in her voice, it sounded like she could have been laughing. I came out here to see you. You couldn't have waited until I returned? It's not often you leave your tent, much less travel out of the village or out of the tribe alone. These are dangerous times, Elder. He explained, his concern growing with each word he spoke. Surely she knew that it was dangerous to be alone in the woods without any sort of protection. Even he had a knife stored in his boot for emergencies. Even he knew how to use his herbing knife. Even he knew how to use the knife he used to cut herbs defensively should the need arise. Elder Lehan likely knew how to use a knife too. All tribesmen knew that. But at her age, he had a difficult time believing she could utilize it effectively. These are dangerous times, she agreed with a nod. That's why I felt it best that I see you as soon as I could. That I greet you here rather than leave you in the camp. Did something happen to the camp? He asked, now imagining the worst befalling his people. No, nothing like that, she assured him, the sound of laughter in her voice again, although she wasn't laughing. What was she talking about? He peered over at her, his confusion, his panic fading just a bit, but the confusion much more palpable. Camp is fine. I am fine. I knew today would be safe to travel. And to take a long walk. And so I did. She explained. So I did. She explained. Let's try coming up. I don't go out too much. It can be overwhelming. Today is a beautiful day, though. And I knew there wouldn't be anything overwhelming. So I decided to take the walk. Ooh, what did I just do? Sorry, folks. She explained. I don't think I get it, Nick replied slowly. You knew that today would be safe? She nodded, but didn't elaborate. After a few more steps, she abruptly stopped and turned toward him and Leo. Maybe I'll just name him Leo. We'll see. Nick of the Sirogi tribe. She declared. He immediately stopped and turned his horse toward her. She declared authoritatively, or she began authoritatively. He immediately stopped and turned his horse in her direction. Sorry. was just looking at something that was sent to me. Okay. My sister-in-law went swimming with dolphins, so that was pretty cool. He immediately stopped and turned his horse in her direction. The tone she had just taken with him was something she reserved only for the declarations that would often be made to the council. Whatever she was about to say, she was intent on ensuring that it get carried out. Get heard. Is she giving him a new mission? Give me the herbs you've collected. She held out a hand as she demanded. As she held out a hand. It's not much. Even before I ran into... He trailed off. Even before I ran into the Eldarian. The herbs aren't growing well this year. This year anywhere. He explained. Her hand never moved. He knew that he'd have to turn over the paltry amount of herbs, and that he'd likely have to explain the situation. He just hoped to be able to put it off much longer. In the end, however, he reached into one of the side pouches on Cleo's flank, and pulled out a bundle, a cloth that was a wrapped cloth. A wrapped cloth? A bundle that was a coarse cloth wrapped around some loose herbs and berries. Carefully, he handed over the bundle to Elder Leon. To his surprise, she looked down at the bundle and nodded. I'm thankful I recommended you for this. His brows furrowed. To his knowledge, no one recommended him. He volunteered. And was accepted. She looked up at him and gave a warm smile. There were several candidates, but for what I needed to get done. But you were the best. You were the one who would. There were several candidates. But of them, of the volunteers, you were the one who I felt would get what I needed. But of the ones volunteered, I don't understand, he said. He stated slowly. This wasn't feeling right to him. Was this actually his elder? Or was it someone else in disguise who could mimic her very unique voice? Excuse me. For once actually acknowledging his confusion with force actually is something other than amusement. She pursed her lips together. Let's just say, she said after a few moments, that I have feelings about actions that need to take place. She was speaking slowly and choosing her words wisely. Excuse me. It's that time of day again, isn't it? Yep, 3 o'clock. Alright, we got 2 hours left though. 2-ish hours left. It's not a hard stop at 5, but I should wrap up around 5. Anyway. Let's go. And choosing her words wisely. I have feelings about actions that need to take place. Yeah. Hey May. Sorry if it got contagious over there, over the stream. I'm choosing her words wisely. So you had a feeling that I should go? The elderly elder nodded her confirmation. Oh, is Comic-Con this weekend? I honestly don't follow convention trends at all. But so is Comic-Con this weekend? I feel like I should go. Why? Again, the woman chose her words carefully. Oh, next. Oh! That's pretty far in advance. That's pretty cool, though. At least you're locked in. Which Comic-Con? New York? San Diego? Orlando? Somewhere else? Carefully. I have a feeling we would meet someone that would be very impactful to everyone's future. Nick was taken aback. What did she mean by that? Do you know about the war? Yeah, he blurted out the question. No, it's worth it, but it's worth it. The San Diego one? Alright. Hey, you sound excited. So obviously you're looking forward to it. Have you been before, or is this your first one? This time it was Utterly Hun's turn to look confused. Or? No. I don't think so. Maybe. She answered almost as if she answered each word coming out as she searched her memories. First one? Oh! Heck yeah! I can see the excitement then. I hope you have fun. Are you in San Diego, or will you be traveling to go? This time it's Elderly Hunt's turn to look confused. More? No. I don't think so. Maybe. She smiled. There's a possibility of war. Yes. I don't think the person you met is as important to that. So Farah, the woman I saved, is going to be an important figure in the future. He asked. But not because she's warning us about the Carlathians invading. The elder shook her head. Excuse me. The elder shook her head. Not at all. Her importance is more for the nation, she explained. Nick's eyes grew wide. Was she the darkness after all? What was her mission? Is more for, not the nation, the world. Let's see, I'm still trying to figure out how I want to roll this out. Let's see. Oh, I need to adjust my wording on this because I just realized that I've got Twitch and YouTube subs and each one is different. I'll tweak that after the fact though. Nick's eyes grew wide. Was she the darkness after all? I'm just reading back. The elder's eyes went half-lidded. And she no longer seemed to be looking at Nick. Her mouth hung agape for a moment before pressing together with a smile that turned into a serious frown. You brought her back. Oh. I'm still trying to figure out how to do this. So sorry, guys. Nick. Her tone took on the authoritative. Authoritative tone once again. You need to take Farah. You need to take that woman, Farah, and protect her. Protect her? Me? He blinked. Why? The woman shook her head. You must take So you must take the Farah out of Ooh. I love it when things come together. This is exciting. Okay. Away from Skylark. And protect her. Protect? Take her away. Protect her? Me? Why? His head swam. Was he supposed to deliver the darkness to the Foreseen after all? Elder Neon. Leon shook her head. These are the images I'm seeing. You are taking a woman. These are the images I'm seeing. You are taking a woman away from her home. She does not look happy. That sounds like there. He admitted. He admitted to himself. He had a feeling the scout would not appreciate being absconded with. There is danger all around. You are no fighter, but you can ensure she makes it out of the woods safely. There's danger all around. You are no fighter, but you can ensure that she makes it out of the woods safely. What if I don't? A sharp glare from the elder made him rephrase his question. What if I fail? What if she doesn't? Only then can what is expected come to pass. What if I don't? A sharp glare from the elder made him rephrase his question. What if I fail? What if she doesn't want to go with me? What if I'm not a good protector? And she ends up dying or injured. What's supposed to come? Can the world begin its events? What if I don't? What if I fail? What if she doesn't want to go with me? What if I'm not a good protector and she ends up dying or injured? What's supposed to come to pass? What events are supposed to begin? Nick didn't like hearing any of this. How was he supposed to protect someone like her, especially if a war or something worse was about to happen. Especially if she's going to become the darkness that sets off, that the Foreseen is set to fight. Wouldn't it be better if she were to be killed here? Alright, so my brain is braining. Kinda wanna leave it here, but I do not know the consequences. How do we explain with the shake of her head? Just that this is that this. I do not know the consequences. I really got to explain the shake of her head. Just that this is what I am seeing for you. Nick looked down at the back of his mare's, of his horse's neck. He looked up. The frown on his face. Can I at least sleep one night in the family tent? No. Alright, so that's the end of chapter 34. I'm just going to scroll slowly up. I'm not going to try to make anybody motion sick with the scrolling. Oh, this is longer than I thought it was going to end up being. Yay me. As you try to... Okay. Now scrolling down slowly. Again, trying to avoid people getting sick from the scrollies. Oh, went too far. Alright, now we're going to do a word count. So let's do Iwardi County. Interesting. Oh, I think for whatever reason it's doing it at 5 minutes, 3 minutes. I might have to adjust that. I want to let it go all the way through though. For our Twitch viewers, you have an ad starting in a few minutes, just as an FYI. Alright, so I'm going to do word count. This is going to be on the YouTube side. 24242. I love it when they palindromes. Alright, cool beans. So we've done 2,000 words so far. Cool. We're about halfway-ish through. So we can get another 2,000 words in. I've been relatively chatty today, so. Alright, so. Control Enter for the chapter break. 35. Heading 1. Excuse me, sorry. Oh la la. I'm trying to decide what I want to do this chapter. Mm, I'm gonna tweak this. I think it's gonna be a fairer point of view for this though. Just FYI. Yeah, I've updated it to just 1 minute. I don't know if it'll take this stream or if we gotta wait till next stream, but I did update that. So it's not so spammy in Twitch. Alright, so. Timelines are terrible, honestly. Should have plotted that out better. So it's half a day. Oh, goodness gracious. So let's just put everybody into their places. So we're say today's Saturday, right? So Saturday morning. So Friday night, Luca attacked the camp, got captured. Saturday morning, Deja almost tries to kill Luca, but then gets convinced otherwise. Saturday late morning, Nick returns Farah to her tribe. Saturday evening, so half a day later, Nick is halfway to his place. He talks with his elder and basically gets told to turn around and go get Farah again. And now it's going to be Sunday morning. Yay. Alright. Alright, so Sunday morning, I'll say 8, 9 a.m. Farah had been assigned, had been told that she was not allowed to do anything for the remainder, for the next 3 days. Farah had been told that she was not to Following her return and her retelling of the events of her past week, I'll just say week, yeah. I'm gonna have to create dates. Following her return her telling a few minutes last week. Her only options were to recover and mourn. The young woman initially had no problem with those rules. It was her body longed for recovery. After she was given some food and had been escorted to her tent, she lay down and promptly fell asleep for several hours. However, once she awoke, she found she no longer wanted to be confined. Now that her body was at least properly rested, she wanted to get up and do something. Feed the horses, make new bows, patrol. She wanted to be productive, especially with the threat of the war looming. Excuse me. Especially the threat of the war. She didn't want to risk being caught unprepared. Surely the Carlathians wouldn't. Had it been a week? I really do need to make a timeline. Nice. Surely the Carlathians wouldn't attack so quickly. They knew their prize might not even be in Sylark. Still, she knew firsthand how temperamental they could be. Oh, goodness gracious. Sorry, guys. Surely the Carlathians, they knew the prize might not even be in Sylark. Still. And they perceived slight, like hiding their #1 warrior might something that could set them off, especially after it was discovered. Especially after one of their non-soldiers disappeared in their lands. And again, the Parnians did take out least a pile of Carlathian bodies. Enough so that a small bonfire could be made from them. That would surely reach them too. The question then became not when the Carlathians attacked, but who. Or might decide to attack both. Hera admittedly had no knowledge about military or armies or anything. Besides, she just knew how things played it, how things often were in Sylark, where the tribes would often clash with one another. Then again, there was that Sarogi tribe that Nick was a part of. The only tribe in the nation that seems to be immune from being targeted by most of the other tribes. She wasn't sure if the Azords would also attack them, would also attack them, or if they would allow their dust to exist peacefully. Oh, goodness gracious, sorry again. Okay. Or if they would just exist peacefully. Sorry, I scrolled up. Oh, your guys have white anyway. Alright. A few more lines and you should get some text. Let's see. Just show it. Also attack them, or if they would Who knew about that tribe? I was thinking. Since Luca was part of the tribe, and she mentioned having a representative from Carla with them, among them. It stood to reason that the Azords murdered that man she had found. For what gain? Farah had no idea. Maybe to incite a war? But why would the Azords want to risk their own livelihoods as well? It just didn't make sense to the woman. This wasn't the first time she mulled the problem over in her mind. But every time she tried to leave her tent to do something productive, someone would escort her right back and inform her of the rest that she needed to do. Oh, excuse me. It had now been the first day, a full day since her return. 2 more days to go, and then she will be able to help out. The Carlathians wouldn't attack during that time frame, right? Even if they did, their encampment was removed from the border, so there could be no way to reach. For the Carlathian army to reach them before she could get up and become productive again. She sat on a pillow and listened to the world outside of her tent, trying to imagine what was going on. There were mothers scolding their children, playing with the paints. In the distance, she could hear the banging of the metallurgists. Once or twice, she heard the braying of an animal, though none were... Oh, that's right, she doesn't have her horse now. Erase that part. Bring an animal. Usually a horse, but she heard a cow once in there. She tried to imagine what it would be like had she not been placed on rest. She'd probably be working with the tanners. She wouldn't be scouting. That was too soon. That was much too soon for what she had gone through. And she'd likely be doing more recruit tasks for the time being. Instead, she imagined that she would be with the tanners, stretching skin to dry or curing it with a fluid designed to keep the material sturdy, despite the weather. Despite the changes in weather. she could be crafting the next well. Hit a page. Assuming the tanners or bowyers? Is there a Y? Bowyers didn't need assistance. She could learn something more domesticated and take up growing plants, growing traveling plants, and learning how to properly cook meat that wasn't sticking it over a fire or dehydrating it with salt. Excuse me, sorry. Wishful thinking. That's all it was. But she knew it. She started to settle down to take a nap, more out of boredom than actual tiredness, when the flap to her tent was pushed inward. Sarah. This morning's guard called. You have a visitor. All right. We tried to send him back, but he insisted. The guard, today it was woman. The guard, this one was a woman by the name of, I don't know. Eliath? No, isn't Eliath an actual name though? I'm trying to get away from those. Ethid. Stated below her breath as she escorted Farah from the edge of the wagons to where Nick was waiting on his, I think it's Chestnut, on his Chestnut mare. Nick nodded to Farah, who gave a brief nod in return. He could hear everything. The guard was saying he wasn't surprised by any of it either. So, to send him away? Sarah asked, also using low tones, that he could still over here. All right, let's see. She looked up at the other guard, who nodded their approval. And then stepped away from Farah. Farah looked tired. She definitely had more color to her cheeks now though than she did originally or even yesterday. A smile, a hesitant crossed her face. She stepped toward Leo and Nick and looked up at him. Why are you here? His mouth opened, but no words found themselves leaving his throat. Why was he here? Was he responsible for taking the darkness to the Foreseen? He couldn't say that. He glanced at the two guards, both women today, posted not too far from where they were standing. He then looked down at Farah. There was no way he could tell her he was sent to bring her out of the nation, to take her away, and bring her out of the nation. Where did Elder Leon mean by that? Anyway, was he just supposed to take Farah to the Foreseen grasslands and let it be? And leave her there? That didn't sound productive at all. How would events begin to take place like that? I came, he said, unsure of what he was saying, even in the middle of speaking them. I came to ensure you were still doing well. He finally managed to stammer out. Farah's smile turned from hesitant to genuine I'm confused. I appreciate the thought, but why? When you're well enough, he stammered, looking around at the other guards. I'd like to go on a ride with you. He lied. He'd prefer to be home. Emily. Still, there's no way he would tell her that he was ordered to take her away. There's no way he would tell her that he was ordered to take her away. Let's see. Even if she couldn't put up a fight, those guards looked very scary. Maybe if he could convince her to go on a ride with him, then he could convince her to go to the grasslands. Though from his recollection of her story, she might not want to. He'd have to do some hefty convincing. Alright. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm gonna get some water real quick. I will be right back. I'll probably hit up the restroom too. So I'll be back in a minute or two. Enjoy the music. This is Lo-Fi Girl. Alright, sorry about that delay, but thank you for your patience. Okie dokie. Let's see. We need to read where we were at. My ears are going everywhere but to my text. I wonder if that's a sign. Okay, anyway. Maybe if he can convince her to go on a ride with him, then he can convince her to go to the grasslands. Though, from his recollection of her story, she might not want to. He'd have to do some hefty convincing. One element at a time, though. He needs to convince her to come away. He knew that elderly Huns directive was to do this as quickly as possible, but he also he wasn't able to what's the word? So he wasn't able to rest like he originally wanted to. But so he wasn't able to return to his camp and rest like he originally wanted to. I left the door open and now there's a cat in here, so apologies if I start making weird sounds. Where was I? Like he originally wanted to. So he was but he also wasn't going to force the issue with Vera and her tribe. A light flush came across the woman's tanned cheeks. Go on a ride. The guards on either side of her shared a glance, one giving a small smirk. I enjoyed our time together, he said with a shrug. That wasn't a lie at all. He really did enjoy getting to know. He held no romantic feelings for her. He knew that her late companion, Aiden, likely held that spot in her heart. But he wouldn't say no to a ride through the wood with her. She, in any circumstances. Da, 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 da. You can look. You can, if it makes you feel any better, it doesn't have to be for pleasure. One of the guards was doing her best to hold in some sort of laughter. But he was trying to ignore her. You can do your scouting while I gather herbs for my tribe. We could still use some of those berries. That wasn't an entire lie. What he turned over to the elder wasn't enough to get through a cold snap. So the tribe would need much more. Farah looked down. Obviously, Farah looked down. She wasn't saying anything. I apologize if that was too formal, was too shocking. He apologized and asked all at once. The tribes aren't too far apart. And I thought this could be a good way for us to, oh, I forgot about that, to improve the relationships with the tribes. He knew exactly how the relationship would go once Farah never returned, but that would have to wait for now. Was he really to trigger the darkness that the Foreseen would have to fight? Once again, he found himself asking, no, it's fine. No, it's fine. But finally answered, she looked up at him and shook her head. I am flattered and appreciate the offer, she said, her voice flat. I am ordered to rest for the next few days. So I will return in. But she cut him off. Her tone firm, and telling him not to speak up again for now. Again, until she was done. Until she was done. but even once I am fully rested, I do not want to leave my camp for any reason for the foreseeable future. He blinked at her. He knew full well the dangers of what she went through and couldn't what's the word? I couldn't blame her for not wanting to leave her area of safety. The problem was, how was he going to fulfill his elders' order while also maintaining some semblance of peace with Farah and her tribe, while also not implicating his tribe overall in the matter, although he knew that would not be likely. The actions of one spoke for the actions of all in Skylark. Alright. Brain is trying to brain. He gave a reluctant nod. I see. He began to say, we can one of the guards spoke up. It was the guard who was doing her best not to giggle during the majority of the exchange. That won't be necessary, he said with a shake of his head. Besides, tensions are high right now. Even among my tribe. If something were to happen, it wouldn't be a good situation headed again for any of us, he admitted. The guard who made the suggestion looked crestfallen. Sorry, my brain's just trying to brain. My camp, incidentally, is about a day's journey to the northwest? To the northwest, he offered. It's not. If you, by. On my outings. Just to say hi. And see and make the writing offer again. Just to say hi. And if you are ever up for writing, I'll be glad to write with you too. Of course, he's not going to actually stay away for that period of time, but you know, as you do. Oh, I got to do something. Hold on. There we go. I think that's a good chapter break. Now I need to figure out the next chapter. Here, I'm gonna jump this up real quick. Chapter 36. Oh, we gotta do a word count. I did it on YouTube last time, so I'll do it on Twitch this time. Give me a sec while I get things set up for the next chapter. And yes, this may or may not be procrastinating. Don't judge. All right. 4,000-ish words done today. Good job, me. Good job. And we got 30 minutes to go. So, okay. Oh, sorry, it's a stretchy stretch. I really need to do a roadmap of when things are. I know I'm using Google Docs, but YWriter is pretty good with the organization. Like you could have tabs where you just have characters' names, and there's actually edit boxes where you can put in where the time frames are and all that stuff. So I might go back and import some of this stuff into YWriter. Just to help with some of the timelines. Because I didn't do the timelines when I wrote the initial leg of the story either. Sure. That's a problem. It's not a problem, I just have to read it again, which is fine. It took me a couple days to read it the first time. So where was I? Guys, where was I? Oh yeah. Alright, so so chapter 35 was basically Sunday morning around 8 or 9. A couple of days since the Karlathian Ares and what's-his-face were murdered. At least 3. So would the king have made the order since then? I'd like to think so, but would they be able to mobilize and problem is all the POVs that I've got near the border are no longer near the border. Like, I know where I want to go. I want to have... I'm just brainstorming out loud. This may or may not happen. But I want to have the Carlathians invade Sylark, obviously. They're basically one of... Like, the king's... reasoning, if I'm gonna call it that, is that, you know, he's got, like, the person who invited his representative is from the Azor tribe, but he's got no way to reach the Azor tribe because his representative is pretty much MIA, so obviously something must have happened. And since the Sylark nation doesn't have a centralized leadership, he can't hold anyone, like any nation, to account. So he just might as well burn it all and then just take it all for himself. That's his reasoning. He's not as aware of the Foreseen influence, at least as of yet, so he is focusing most of his stuff on Sylark. So that's going to be the next beat, and within that beat, within the burning, we will have Nick rescue, quote unquote, rescue Farah. She'll abscond with her. It'll probably be a few days out from where we last left off. So we've got that. And then for the Foreseen group, which is Raimi, Luca, and Deja, the Foreseen Knights, they're making their way eastward. I think he said it's going to take 3 days, and so this has been a full day since they broke camp. So they're 2 days out from when they reach the edge of the city. I forget what Pufan said exactly, or what I had him say. But when... So here's the thing. There's going to be a new POV that is entered when they enter the city. Or maybe in the outskirts of the city. And Deisha is going to get separated from the camp. Something's going to happen with Luke and Raimi. They might just fall into obscurity, or come up again later. And then, like, Nick and Farah will find their ways out of the forest, but it won't be to the grasslands because they're having to basically avoid all of the troops plus all of the other tribes, and they're going to find themselves in the northern mountains, which is like okay, which is I don't know if I want them to go that far up. I want them to meet up again. And these two events, one is supposed to happen, yes, but the other is supposed to happen when they're together. So I need to get them together again, I guess. Although, the event that happens after they're together again doesn't have to happen right when she enters the city. No, it doesn't. But the event where they need to be together again. Damn it. Guys, my brain doesn't want to move forward now. Still have to find a way for, because in order for this to work, they have to get together. That means Farah either needs to find her way to Princia, or Deja needs to find a way to back away from Princia, which is her whole goal, so she wouldn't do that. Ay, 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 ay. I know, just right. Alright. So yeah, I think the goal is to basically get them to Princia. Get everyone in the city. Okay. I can do that. I can do that. Alright, but first we gotta get the invasion happening, right? Okay. So brain is not braining. So last chapter was basically Sunday morning, right? Yeah, Sunday morning between 8 and 9. So now we're Tuesday morning. I'm just using this to pass time. Or to figure out time. So yes. Okay. Sec. Okay. Nick never returned to his tribe. Instead, he kept a fair distance away, riding back. Instead, he kept a fair distance away. Never returned to his tribe. Instead, he kept a fair distance away, setting up camp. In a nice, secluded grove of trees. Instead, he kept a fair distance away, setting up camp in a nice, secluded grove of trees. He realized that the Aldarians probably knew that he wasn't scouting, that he wasn't. I probably knew that he was setting up camp here. Ah, jeez! Hi, buddy! I had to catch up on the back of my chair. It scared the crap out of me. I'm sorry for anybody's ears. Ugh. Buddy, what's up? Love you too. What's up? Alright, you can sit there. I'll just move my keyboard over. Alright, so let me move the chat so I can see chat. While also seeing the viewer count. Okay, cool. Alright, he realized the elder probably knew that he was heading up camp here, but honestly, tried to, and although he was nervous at the prospect of them calling him out on it, knew that knew that he would have to only worry about it if it became a problem. still, he didn't want to ruin the pretense that he needed the berries for their medicinal properties. Plus, if he was where's my mouse? There it is. Plus, if he was ever going to return to his tribe, he would like to bring back the berries with him. So, once the camp was set up, he decided to go out and hunt for the berries until dusk, when he would ride back to the camp. For the next 2 days, his routine consisted of sleep, eating a small meal of cheese and bread, and going out to hunt for berries before returning back to the camp and eating some dried rabbit and a couple of the berries. The berries weren't in large supply this season, so he had to make sure to ration them so that he wouldn't eat all of what he had picked. So he wouldn't eat them all before he returned to his camp. That was the hope. Anyway, he might need them for later when he would end up traveling with Farah, if he did. Although he trusted Elder Leon, he wasn't sure about the claims she made to be able to see events. I don't know if that's how she put it, but to see things that should happen. It felt weird to him. No one should be able to see things that are supposed to happen. If that was the case, why bother making any choices at all? Yeah, buddy. Alright. If that's the case, then we don't make any choices at all. I feel like some of these thoughts don't belong in some of these narratives, but that's fine. It just ruins the flow, I think. But they're important to have, and I can always rearrange it during editing. He might need them for later, and if he ended up. Alright, he was contemplating this when a shriek, when a cacophony He was contemplating this. He was contemplating this as he was sitting down and sitting down on a log in his camp with one of the berries rolling back and forth between his fingers when a cacophony of animal cries rose from the forest to the south. He stood and shoved the berry back into its pouch. He was just there and had no sense that there was anything amiss. Why are the animals upset? Alright, 10 minutes, y'all. Okay. Hopping onto the back of Leo, he started toward the south in order to investigate. It didn't take very long to understand what the animals were upset about. The smell of smoke began to waft in his general direction, and he could see angry oranges and reds glowing in the far distance. There was a fire of some sort. Not only was there a fire, not only was there a fire, there was. What was there, buddy? Sorry guys, my brain just farted and I'm petting the cat, so... Oh, there were figures moving. No, he can't see that well. Animals were running past him and his horse now, only moving out of the way so they wouldn't be slowed by any collisions. Birds flocked together overhead, flying northward. Fire would be a good reason for the animals to flee. Fire, he agreed. How dangerous was this, though? Would the fire be spreading this far north? How dangerous was this, though? He had seen fires before. They didn't usually cause the wildlife much grief. This felt bigger, though. More animals, more widespread? Would it travel to where he was currently staying? Would it impact the Eldarian tribe and then eventually his? Or any of the others? He didn't know where the other tribes were stationed or held. Sometimes these fires were caused in error by a tribe, and it would severely hurt their survivability for next year. He gulped. If he went looking for a tribe now, he would be alone and might be overtaken by the flames if they were truly as big and angry as he had imagined. If he didn't, then people who needed help might not get it and be consumed by the flames. He could help people once the flames died down. Once the flames died down, of course. But while the fire is raging, a horse could easily run faster than a human's legs. He looked to the east, where he knew the Eldarian tribe was. They likely also had a sense of what was happening. He might be able to speak to them to get some help. They were also very reluctant to trust other tribes. They were also very so he wasn't sure how far their willingness to he wasn't sure how deep their distrust he wasn't sure how deep the distrust ran, if it would prevent them from helping another tribe in dire straits or not. A decision had to be made. Every moment debating meant there could be another life lost. If he went in and made a wrong turn, that would also be another life lost. That would also risk another life lost, but at least he went in. If he went to the Eldarians and tried to plead a case to go searching for other tribes, that would mean time lost in searching with no guarantees that they would assist. He decided to go alone, and urged Cleo forward. Once the heat became just barely tolerable, he directed his horse to run parallel. Once the flames were visible, the heat started to become just barely intolerable. At this point, he urged his horse to run parallel to the flames. There was plenty of ground to cover, both eastward and westward. But westward also led to the grasslands. He went eastward. Knowing that if he found nothing, then he could double back. And if he found someone who they could retreat to the east, to the west of the grass. All right, so it is 5. I'm gonna keep up. There's a couple more sentences I want to write, and then I'll do a word count. He only ran a few yards. They only ran a few yards before he brought up his horse. Before he brought up Cleo into a halt. The fire was spreading northward. Not only was it it was a wall. The fire was spreading northward. The fire was not normal. It was not only acting like a wall, but it was pressing northward. In the brightness, he could see figures. They weren't trying to run from the fire. They were a good distance from the wall of flames, but they weren't trying to run from it. As far as up to a halt. He peered at the wall of flames, just directly parallel to him. The fire was not normal. It was not only acting like a wall, but it was pressing northward. And the brightness, he could see the shadows of figures. They're a good distance from the wall of flames. In fact, it looked like they were trying to encourage it. One shadow seemed to run between various spots on the earth and the shadow of a tree. Was it feeding the plane toward the tree? Was it directing the plane toward the tree? He asked, is this how they were going to start the war? All right, perfect. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and do a quick word count, and we will wrap it up. All right. I don't remember where we started. I think it's 22. So we got about 50, no, 5,000 words done. We are on the 15th day of the month of a, 31-day month? 30 or 31 days? 30-day month. So we are halfway through the month, halfway to the goal, which is great. Revenue-wise, it's okay. But it's fine. It's been kind of tight these last few years anyway for everyone's pockets, so I completely understand. Every little bit helps though, right? And the more important thing is that I get the word out there so that people are aware of it and they can utilize it. Okay, what else? But yeah, I'm wrapping up now. So because I streamed today, I'm not going to be doing like the 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock stream. That will be family time spent with family, yada yada yada. I may or may not do some writing overnight. We shall see how the muse affects me. And then tomorrow, I expect to do another midday stream. Probably won't be as long. We'll see. Maybe 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. I'll play it by ear. Monday. Let's talk about Monday. Monday is D&D night, so I won't be streaming Monday night. Monday I'll still work. And I've got a appointment in the middle of the day, so my work is probably going to run long on Monday. So if I stream Monday, great. It'll probably be like between 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. 6, 7. If I don't stream Monday, I apologize. I mostly apologize to Baby DJ. But, you know, this year I'm just streaming when I can. Alright, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I've got to go get some laundry and exercise done. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.